been 15 years since I returned to my homeland, the place where both of my parents were born, where my dad studied and went to college, where my parents met and got married, and the place that recently has been calling me home.
बचपन चला गया ते जवानी चली गई हो जिंदगी दी कीमती निशानी चली गई
memory lane te Tere.
The last time I was in Pakistan, I was 8 years old, so I spent this first day just trying to experience everything through my dad's eyes. These first few moments in his bin were so tender and special to me because everything was new, yet it felt familiar all at once. I tried really hard to stay awake and fight the jet lag, but the next morning I woke up around 3 a.m., so we all decided to go on a walk as the sun was rising. Soon after arriving in the bin, it was time to leave again. It seemed like everywhere I turned, there was some sort of memory, distant yet familiar in the back of my head. I remembered things from childhood like the gate to enter my dad's house, the wind on my face riding a motorcycle, the Punjabi di soni awaaz. Har paase mera dil hil gaya, Punjab ne mainu bulaya. Our next stop was to visit my mom's family in Faisalabad to do some wedding shopping, and even though I was really hesitant to leave the bin, there were some important things for me to experience in the city. We had 2 different weddings to attend in Pakistan, which meant I needed to find 6 different outfits plus accessories while I was in Faisalabad. And even though I was overwhelmed by the amount of options and just the general chaos of being in the city, I still managed to find moments of calm. We stopped to grab some fruit and veggies off the side of the road, and one thing I really came to love about Pakistan is how fresh and colorful everything was. I felt like everything tasted richer and more flavorful here, especially while we were in the bin, because everything came straight from the ground. Every morning, my parents would go on a walk to this beautiful park in the heart of the city, and on this morning, I decided to join them. There was a vendor outside of the park who would make fresh orange juice, and it was so yummy. My parents would bring it for me almost every day, so I was definitely starting to get a bit spoiled. We were passing by these two men in the park and they saw me filming, and one of them gestured for me to come over because he wanted to show me the flowers that he grew. And this is one of those moments where I just really fell in love with being here. Here, why don't you get a picture on my phone? I'm not gonna lie, I get a little uncomfortable trying to reflect on this trip in a way that's meaningful, because it's hard to explain something in words that I experienced so deeply in feelings. And even now, I'm not entirely sure what those feelings are. I feel like we go our whole lives being told that certain places are worth living in and certain places are not. I never intended to come here and paint a certain picture or romanticize Pakistan in a way where I just reduced it down to aesthetics. But me having been away for so long and genuinely wanting to come back so bad, it was almost impossible for me to not capture it with my camera and to not find it beautiful. When you're an artist and you love something, you want to show its best qualities. But more than that, I just wanted to show people how I saw my homeland.
ਮੁੜ ਮੁੜ ਯਾਦ ਸਤਾਵੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਹੋਕਾ ਦੇਂਦੀ ਫਿਰਦੀ ਬੀਬੀ ਥਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਸਤੀ ਲੈ ਲੋ ਦਰਜਨ ਕੇਲੇ ਫਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਕੇਲੇ ਫਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਕੁੜਤੀ ਕੌਣ ਦੁਆਵੇ ਕੁੜਦੀਆਂ ਡਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਤਾਵੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਗਲੀਆਂ ਦੀ
ਥੱਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਕਚਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ
I have some bad news, which is that I contracted pneumonia and I've been very sick the past couple of days. I actually went to the doctor's office and I passed out. I'm a lot better today, thankfully, but I have not stepped outside in 4 days and I've been in this windowless room with fluorescent lighting. So I think today I need to get some sunshine. I'm still recovering from my illness, but I think that I am mostly fine now. I'm feeling a lot better. I came out and sat on the roof, which is making me very happy. There's so many like cute little birds and stuff out here, and I did bring my painting supplies and learned that I am not very good at watercolor anymore. But that's okay. It's been really nice to just get a little bit of sunshine and watch the birds and stuff. My favorite part about Pakistani households is the roof. I feel like it is just so superior, and I wish the roofs were like this in the US, but they're not. We ended up staying in Faisalabad a lot longer than expected because I was sick, but luckily I still had time to see a little bit of Lahore once I was feeling better. And if you know nothing about Lahore, it's a city rich with art and historical significance in South Asia. Before we got to Lahore, we actually took a small detour to visit Gurudwara Janamsthan in Nankana Sahib, which was the birthplace of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of the Sikh religion. Before partition, Lahore was one of the largest multicultural cities in Punjab. There were lots of arguments about who would get Lahore during partition because even though the city was majority Muslim, its economy was controlled by Hindus and Sikhs. And of course, all three religions had prominent religious sites located in the city. The months leading up to this trip, I spent a lot of time connecting to my culture in a way that I hadn't done before. I didn't really grow up surrounded by things like Punjabi music, art, or literature, so those were things that I started to explore on my own in college. My last year of college, I decided to get a degree in Middle East South Asian Studies, and it really changed my perspective on the US and on the West in general. The summer after I graduated, I started to read a ton of books on partition, and one of my favorites was This Is Not That Dawn by Yashpal, and the first half of the book actually takes place in Lahore, so it was really interesting to be able to see a city that up until that point I had only read about. I really feel like my creativity peaked while I was in Pakistan because I was finally able to execute the kind of art that I had been dreaming to make. Everywhere I went, there were so many things that caught my attention, not even just artwork or architecture, but also signage and Urdu calligraphy. I studied graphic design in school, and I always wanted to incorporate elements of my culture within my art, but I just didn't know how. And I said this on my Instagram, but I feel like Lahore is definitely a city for artists. The reason we came to Pakistan in the first place was because I had 3 cousins getting married in the span of 6 days, and the night before the first day of the wedding, there was a little celebration happening, and we got so lost on the way there, and after that, it was just a consistent downward spiral. By the time we got there, I was feeling really nauseous and out of it. And then I threw up in a bucket and I had food poisoning the rest of the night. I ended up missing the first day of the wedding, which actually made me really emotional, mainly because I started to feel alone and left out. But thankfully, I recovered really quickly and the next couple days went smoothly. This was my favorite look of all the events, and it was inspired by my favorite movie Umrao Jaan, specifically the 1981 version starring Rekha. In the film, she performs in an all-red outfit with red lipstick, and since that moment, I've been wanting to wear something that embodies her energy in the film. I didn't really film much of the wedding celebrations, but I was so grateful when we got back to the bin because I missed it so much. The moment we sat in bed, my mom said it felt like we were home again. My only plans for the next few days were to play badminton with my parents, lay on the roof, read my book, and paint in my sketchbook. I can't even explain to you how happy I was to be back where I started the trip off. Not even where I started the trip off, but just where it felt like my roots were firmly planted. The soil, the land, the people, there was just so much love for me to experience here. And as soon as we got back, I felt whole again. Hello. Currently, I'm in my dad's village. This is where he grew up and where my parents lived right after they got married. So it's been really interesting to come back here as an adult and just to experience it kind of like for the first time, since the last time I came here was 15 years ago, and I think I was around 8 years old. So obviously a lot has changed with time, but a lot has also remained the same. I do have memories from the first time that I came here, which it's sweet to just like see things and to remember them, like just really random things like the gate to my dad's house, also my uncle's house, and I don't know. There's just like lots of little things that I remember and that I feel like I'm experiencing for the first time as an adult, which is really, I keep saying I don't know, but it's because I haven't really like sat down and journaled and like processed all these feelings. I also just haven't gotten a lot of time where it's like literally just me. I feel like there's always someone else around, which it is really nice to like be around family and stuff. I don't feel like I have any complaints about that. I just think that maybe I could have done a better job of like really documenting this trip in words and feelings, because I feel like so far all of it has been in visuals. But that is why I'm up here today. I brought my journal, I brought my sketchbook. I'm going to do some painting, some writing, some talking to the camera, just some filming, photography, all the things. I feel like being here has really lit that creative spark again, and I just want to keep on making things. And I feel like even with this trip being like over a month long, it's just not enough time. I don't think any amount of time would be enough for me to like truly capture everything that I want to capture here, but it's okay. I'm trying my best just to like make the most of my time here. One of my friends told me like really make the most of it because you don't know when or if you'll come back. But I think I know in my heart like I will be back. This is not the first or last time I'll be in Pakistan as an adult. I will be coming back here. I just feel like I have so much to do here. Like there's a lot for me here, like both emotionally and creatively and just in all regards. Okay, little update. I'm about halfway done with this painting and taking a little break now because my dad brought me some tea and then my popo brought me some pakores. So I'm just gonna munch on these. They're so good. I do not trust the crows here. I feel like they're after my food. They're all flying around. Oh my god. They're getting so close to me. You can't have any. Nay. I know what he wants. He's looking at me. Okay. I think I scared him away. He's eyeing my food. Okay, I think I'm just gonna munch on these really quickly because the crows are scaring me. I was kind of determined to not leave the bin by this point in the trip because it felt like the space where my nervous system was the most regulated and where I felt the healthiest. But my mom was getting bored, so she convinced me to take a 3-hour road trip to Multan. And I say convinced because Multan was actually on my bucket list. Before I came here, I made a whole itinerary of places I wanted to visit. But after getting sick twice, I really just wanted to stay in the Bind. However, I was so glad that I ventured out again.
मस्त होके गावा दुनिया राजी करके कमले फिर भी चैन नहीं होना सारी खुशियां मिल जावन ते पिछे की रह जाना सारी खुशियां मिल जावन ते पिछे की रह जाना तेरे बस में कुछ भी नहीं है दिल में समझावा.
Somehow Multan managed to capture my heart in less than a day. This tomb we visited was built in the 13th century in dedication to a Sufi mystic, and the pigeons and eagles flying around paired with the stunning architecture blew me away. Multan is a city that's over 5,000 years old, and because it was a center of spirituality, attracting many Sufi mystics, it became known as the City of Saints. There were actually a lot of places on my itinerary that I didn't get to visit this time, but I honestly wasn't disappointed by that because I knew that it just meant that I'd have to come back. There's genuinely so much in Pakistan that I still want to explore, but from what I did get to see, it was worth venturing out for.
Attention.
Cautious warning.
जानम फिदा है दरी या अली अली अली
All over Multan, you can find blue pottery studios filled with intricate hand-painted pieces inspired by the tile work from the architecture in the city. This style is called Kashigari, and it was developed in Iran and eventually spread to South Asia, particularly in Sindh and southern Punjab. It's actually insane because all the pieces are hand-painted by incredibly talented artisans, and it just blows me away how much patience and stability something so detailed and intricate must require. But that's honestly one thing I really came to appreciate about Pakistan and South Asia in general. Things aren't rushed or mass-produced here, at least not to the extent that they are in the US. I appreciate that the intention behind these pieces is to keep a dying tradition alive. On one of our last days in the Bind, my dad took me around on a motorcycle to show me his entire village. He showed me the fields he would run around in as a kid, and the reason I'm telling you this is because now I get to run around in those fields too.
Okay.